What up? My name is Jeffrey Robert Gnu Gobeil. Some people have a hard time pronouncing that, so it's easier if you just break it down. It's like jump, but instead of a P, there's an F, and then another F. Jeff. It's just Jeff. I'm in school for social work. You see, social workers, they intervene when child predators are hurting kids and they try to abduct them, which is ultimately the goal of social work, anyways. It's a little ironic, you know, taking kids. Now, before we even get started, I promise you that I am not an edgy comic. I just have this thing in me that when I hear or see a funny observation, I have to point it out. You know, the damage that these abusers are doing is extensive and will run deep in the child and their soul and ultimately hinder society. And yet, removing kids from their families will do extensive damage that will run deep in the child and their soul and will ultimately hinder society. It's just from a social worker's point of view, it's better if the kids were being damaged over here. So said the residential school perpetrator. What am I doing in social work? A fair question with an easy answer. I want to change the system from the inside, which is cliche but true. It's actually the same reason I became a cop. You know, I have one buddy who wants to become a cop. He's currently a bus driver. He told me he wants to be a cop to change the system and to make people like police again. So I was like, oh wow, that's kind of like making America great again, but for cops, right? And he's like, exactly. But he's not the tastiest sandwich in the picnic basket. No, I'm trying to get my Bachelor of Social Work degree to eventually get on the path of becoming a therapist. So for now, for the time being, I'm just in need of a therapist. I've been in therapy for 2 years now, and it wasn't easy admitting that I have lost the will to go on and any strength, and I'm depressed, and I really want to relight that fire of life within me. It's just I'm struggling and need help. But I did it. It was no easy feat. About 2 years ago, I went and started therapy. I went to therapy for the first time, and I'm in there, and the first thing I said was, my friends think I'm depressed. And my therapist, this woman, she says, what do you think? What do I think? I'm not doing your goddamn job when this hour cost me $140. I mean, victims comp pays, but still, what do I think? I think I'm a lunatic. No one can fly off the handles with explosive anger like I can, is what I eventually said. So she asked me, do you have anyone in your life who had angry outbursts like you do? So I thought about it, and I thought a long time. I looked around the room, and all I saw were these 8 differently, carefully placed clocks all over so my therapist could discreetly keep track of time as to not offend me when she does so. Now, I do want to take a quick break and say I myself am a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, clearly. I'm still working through it. It has taken me years to find the right community of people that I love and trust to create a safe space for me to ultimately speak my truth. And I have to say, I love and adore comedy for allowing me this creative outlet to laugh about such horrific things. You see, laughing is healing, and so is crying. And my goal is to not offend or shock, but to say that I am a survivor. I want to share my tears, and I also want to share my laughter. Let's not focus on what makes us different, but let's come together as a community. As these things that were once taken from us, let's rebuild our communities. So back to therapy. I finally spoke, and I said, I had a cousin who used to kick the shit out of me, but I knew he was molested. His anger made sense. Explosive anger. My dad also had explosive anger, but he too was sexually abused as a child. His anger made sense. He was open about it. He was in Alcoholics Anonymous, and if I ever attended a meeting, I'd hear him tell the story, and You know, if he came home and his anger was sometimes pointed at us and he had an outburst, it made sense. He was abused sexually as a child. So my therapist says, I'm noticing a pattern here with people who have these angry outbursts in your life. Are you picking up on it? So I said, yeah. Now that I think about it, yeah, I am. If I keep having angry outbursts, people are going to think I was molested. Thank you.